I'm John Seaman here at Road America Racetrack, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, for the 12th annual Vintage Races sponsored by the Vintage Sports Car Drivers Association. The featured marque this weekend is Triumph. A lot of the cars featured this weekend raced throughout the country back in the late 1940s, 1949 through the 50s. There are also many other cars that will be here this weekend. You will see a lot of the cars were production-based cars, which means that they were sports cars that were built on the production line and then converted to racing. There will be Formula 5000, Formula Atlantic. There will be Monoposto Racing, which are single-seat open-wheel cars from the 1970s, and historic production GTU cars, which will be production-based cars in different engine sizes that were mainly built and raced in the 1970s. I'm with Bill Deniger, and this is the Triumph group. Triumph is the featured marque here at the races this weekend. Bill, why don't you tell us about Triumph and a little bit of the history of some of these cars?
Well, as you know, vintage racing is a celebration of the golden age of sports car racing, and Triumph was picked as the featured marque for this weekend, which is kind of ironical because we are absolutely at the lower end of the scale when considered with Ferraris and Maseratis and Bugattis and things like that. But I can assure you, because of the number of Triumphs that were built and their relative low cost and the fact that they were available to the common man, they were absolutely there and deserve to be here. And so it is right that Triumph is the featured marque this weekend. The TR2s, TR3s, TR4s, 6s, Spitfires, GT6s, Vitesse. Triumph made a lot of different production-based sports cars. They were all race cars, and they all performed incredibly well, particularly in club racing. And the nice thing about a Triumph is a young couple could afford them. They were in the $2,500 range to start with. You got bucket seats, you got disc brakes. It went over 100 miles an hour, and you could use it for going to the store during the week, and you could race it on the weekend, and you could win. And people like Bob Tullius and Kaz Kastner and later Jack Wheeler and Hardy Prentice proved that it was a heck of a marque. They're still racing them today in modern racing. The vintage racers try to prepare them at about a 60s level, and our emphasis is not so much on winning. We all try. As soon as the green flag drops, we all try to win, but we don't really care who wins. We argue about where we're going for breakfast, not who won. This car here is from Virginia Beach. Bill Thummel owns it. It's a highly developed TR3. It has a frame, space frame roll cage in it that allows it to... The TR3 was never a very good cornering car. It had a tendency to plow into the corners. And by putting this space frame roll bar system in, it stiffens it out, and he can corner better than the cars that don't have it. This little blue car over here is from Belleville, Ohio. John Harkness races it very well. It's highly prepared, perhaps not as highly prepared as Bill Fummel's car, which has Webers on it. John's has the original SUs, but John is a very, very good driver and has the ability to turn very, very fast lap times. Over here, this is one of the specials. There were many specials, the Peerless, the Swallow Duretti. There were all kinds of body makers, special makers in England that would try to get the torquey Triumph engine and Triumph drivetrain and put it in an exotic body, and that's what this is. This car is one of a kind. It ran and won at Silverstone, came in first in September of 1960, and beat a whole bunch of heavy hitters it didn't have any business in the race with. It's prepared at about a TR3 level. It has a TR3 drivetrain, but because it's a fiberglass body, it's much, much lighter than the steel body TR3, 1,650 pounds as opposed to about 2,100 pounds. It has disc brakes all the way around and the same size engine, so as you can imagine, it can get to high speed faster and it can stay there longer because of the highly developed brake system. This car, I own half of it with Bob Wismer from Moline, Illinois. We shared the expenses of purchasing it and restoring it, and we're taking turns racing it, and Bob is kind of sorting it out this year. It's not going as fast as it will, but someday this car is going to be a real screamer. This is another TR3 race car, and the significant part about this race car, number one, is its driver is Jack Wheeler, who is an ex-E-Production national champion. To let you know how good Triumph cars were, Jack Wheeler won a national SCCA championship in a TR4A, I think it was 3 years ago. So, you know, you're talking 93, 94, and Triumph was still coming in first. Based on number of wins, one could argue that Triumph has the world's greatest competition record. We're not up there with the Ferraris and the Maseratis and didn't have big-name drivers, although people like David Hobbs and so on got their starts. Augie Papp started out in a TR3. And I mentioned Tullius and Castor, but the common man, the garage effort, was able to take this car and develop it and win with it, and that's why they're so popular. This is a TR4. It's meticulously prepared. Joe Alexander owns it from Iowa. Joe and his sons take turns driving it. Sean was driving it this morning. The car is highly developed, but I would have to tell you that both Sean and his old man are good drivers. They achieve very fast lap times, and it has more to do with their driving skill than how highly developed the car is. This is another father and son effort. It's Jack and Tony Drew. They're from Iowa. This car has a flawless paint job. Triumph never did this good a job on the paint. They've meticulously restored it. It looks like a show car, but believe me, if you go out on the track with it, you'll find out in a hurry it's a race car. This car is Jeff Snook's car from Bowling Green, Ohio, and his engine builder is Gleff Effinger from Florida, who is a nationally renowned Triumph expert. If you got an engine built by Glenn, you got a heck of a Triumph engine. He knows how to make them sing. This car is very highly developed, has a lot of go-fast parts on it, and Jeff is an aggressive driver. He's very gregarious, too. And I've been racing with Michael around the country. I've raced with him in Florida and Mid-Ohio and now Road America, and I can tell you that Michael Jackson is one of the best drivers in any venue. He drives a TR3. Yesterday he was out for the first time at Road America, first time out on the track in lousy weather, and he was 8 and 10 seconds a lap faster than anybody out there. He's a hell of a driver. When you watch the 3s and the 4s go out today, keep your eye on Michael Jackson. He's going to turn some fast laps. This is another TR4. Ed Wadman from Ohio, right?
Right.
Okay. And
Ohio.
Yeah, and Ed, one of his first events with the VSCDA was Groton a month or so ago, and I had the opportunity to be his big brother, which meant he got to buy me breakfast and lunch. So we do that in vintage racing. When a person runs for the first time, we assign him a big brother and maybe make him run a rookie stripe on his car. That doesn't have anything to do with ability. It tells the other drivers that this is his first time out on the track or the first time with this group. And in vintage racing, we're very comfortable with each other. We'd rather be out on the racetrack at Road America than out on the freeway with a bunch of people that we don't know what's going to happen. We kind of have a very comfortable feeling for what the other racers can do and will do. There's some people you'll try to pass going into a corner, and others you won't because you're not as comfortable with them. So. This is another TR3A. It originally is from out east. John Frederici owns and drives it. John moved from New Jersey to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and recently to Brookville, Wisconsin, where I'm from. Another TR4, Don Brick, also from Iowa. And the last car in the tent is my car. My car is one of the oldest Triumph race cars here, if not the oldest race car. It's a 1956 Triumph TR3A. It was the 13th one made with disc brakes. All the 12 cars before it and all the cars before that all had drum brakes all the way around. It still has the original rotors on it, and they're getting so thin that the car this weekend is chattering going into corners, so we know we're going to have to find some old rotors if we're going to keep it pure. This car isn't as fast as some of the other cars in the tent, but it's very pure. It's a benchmark TR3. If you want to know what they look like and how they came from the factory, this one has some of the competition features that you could buy off the shelf that are no longer available. It has anti-sway bar in the front, anti-roll bars in the back. It has an oversized Alfin oil drum. It has 10-inch Alfin brake drums on the back. Triumph only made 48 sets. While that sounds like they're rare and valuable, the reason they only made 48 sets is they weren't that good. But this car has them, and if you want to know what they look like, they're on this car. This car has every competition feature that you could order from the factory except the belly sheet metal that used to go underneath. When Triumph originally built the first TR2 to prove it was a sports car, they took it to Jebeki, Holland, and set a world speed record in a TR2. They averaged 129 miles an hour on a three-time trip across the Jebeki straightaway. They went there hoping to do 100, and they did 129. So it's a Ferguson tractor engine that has been souped to the gills.
And these are starting out 4 cylinders, most of them, and then as you got up into the later years, they went to 6 cylinders.
The TR5, which we didn't get in the United States because it couldn't pass the emissions test, was a 140 mile an hour car that was the hit of Europe. Instead of the TR5, we got the TR250, which had a 6-cylinder engine. The TR6 had a 6-cylinder engine. The Vitesse had a 6-cylinder engine, and the GT6 had 6s. And then the last car they brought out was the TR8, which had a Bop V8 or a Rover V8 in it. Actually, it's a Buick V8, 1968 Buick aluminum V8. A lot of people say that's the last true sports car ever built, the Triumph TR8.
Bill, I have one more question. What is the car down here, the street car that's on the road?
Well, that might not be very pretty, but it's a very, very rare car. That is a Swallow Duretti, and it's another special, not unlike the Thunderbolt that we talked about earlier. It's a special bodybuilder, probably Italian, that made a body that would fit the Triumph engine and drivetrain. Has a Triumph TR3 drivetrain? TR2 drivetrain, so it's a very early special. And but everything underneath it is all Triumph. It just has that exotic body. I'm embarrassed to say that when he drove up to the tent this morning, I thought it was an Austin Healey, and I was teasing him about coming to a Triumph event in an Austin Healey, and here it's a very rare Swallow Duretti.
Well, Bill, thank you. You've certainly given us plenty of information. I have one question, though. I can't help but notice your hair. Are you a biker or something?
My ponytail? Well, a lot of people ask me that you know, Triumph originally was a motorcycle company before they made cars. And no, I'm a Willie Nelson fan. So thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Bill. I'm with Tom DePogter, and he's a local racer from Sheboygan Falls. Tom has a unique Indy car. Tom, would you tell us about the car, how you acquired it, and some of its history?
Sure. I purchased a car from a gentleman down in the Chicago area who was interested in going IRL racing this year, and he needed to upgrade his chassis some, so I was fortunate enough to buy it from him. The car originally, before he had it, was started out in 1989 as a backup car for Bobby Rahal. He used it for 89. In 1990, T. Menards bought it, and Jim Crawford ran it in the Indy 500 in 1990. So,
now the car I see has got a Buick engine in it. What kind of horsepower does that generate?
Pretty much based on the amount of boost that you run. If you adjust the boost up to about 55 pounds, you get somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 horsepower. And it depends on the weather and the track conditions, how much horsepower you want to run. So,
now I know that you've been on the track a few times with it. How does the car feel?
It's getting better. I'm getting comfortable with it. Things happen pretty quick in these cars, and trying to work my way up slow and not do anything foolish. So,
how did you get started in racing, Tom?
I started racing back in the 70s. I started running a Triumph Spitfire. From there, I moved up to a Formula Atlantic car for a year, and then I ran a GT5 Honda for about a year and a half. So, it's been about 20, 25 years of being involved in racing, both crewing and driving.
say. This is one of our features of the weekend. Group 9 race.